Namaste and a very warm good evening to all the distinguished guests, HOIs of various institutions, faculties, and dear delegates. Mental health is not a destination, but a process. It's about how you drive, not where you are going. Myself, Mrs. Gautami, feels honored and privileged having an opportunity to be the host for today's webinar, and it gives me an immense pleasure to extend a hearty welcome to you all on behalf of RVCN Fraternity. We appreciate you all for taking time off your busy schedules and joining us today. Dear delegates, as we are about to begin the webinar, all the delegates are kindly requested to keep their camera off and microphones muted to avoid the unwanted disturbances. If you have any queries, you can use the chat box to drop in your queries and the speaker will be able to answer it at the end of the session. Request for your kind cooperation. World Mental Health Day is observed every year on October 10 across the world to raise the awareness through various programs and events in order to draw attention to the mental health issues while representing a global commitment to raise awareness around them to mobilize the support. This year's theme for this World Mental Health Day is Make Mental Health and Well-being for All a Global Priority. Several concerns have been raised by the WHO, which indicated that prior to COVID-19 pandemic, at least 1 in 8 people worldwide were suffering from mental health issues. However, there was a lack of proper infrastructure to support the mental health. Without dragging here, let's start today's program. Welcoming is the noblest act of any event. By welcoming, we make the person feel at home amidst us. The power of gathering, it inspires us delightfully to be more helpful, joyful, and more thoughtful in a world more alive. Now, I request Professor Sheila J., HOD, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecological, RVCN, to welcome the beautiful gathering with the sweet aroma of happiness through words of welcome. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good afternoon to one and all gathered here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this webinar on examination stress management. We have eminent speaker amongst us, Ms. Leah John Shelley. It gives me utmost pleasure to welcome you, ma'am. On behalf of the RVCN family, welcome to Ms. Leah John Shelley. I next would like to welcome all the delegates who have joined from various institutions. And I believe that examination is a common psychological stressor which everybody faces from the level of the pre-KG till the highest level of education. So this session is going to be a fruitful one for everyone who have gathered here. And I welcome all the delegates on behalf of RVCN family. Hope you have a fruitful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila ma'am. Stress during examination is common among the students, as ma'am was telling. Every time we hear about a student committing suicide in India, we assume failure in some exams to be most important cause. Students preparing for exams often feel under pressure. So while a certain amount of stress may be beneficial, but too much exam stress can cause individuals to perform poorly in their tests that mean so much to them. Learning the causes of exam stress can help the students to understand their emotions and to regulate their anxiety level. To decipher the information on examination stress management among the students and to enlighten on this year's theme, we have a renowned speaker amongst us today for sharing her valuable knowledge and experiences. Gaining knowledge is the first step to wisdom, sharing it is the first step to humanity. At the forefront, we are extremely delighted to welcome the eminent speaker of the day, Ms. Leah John Shelley, ma'am, Research and Compliance Officer, to decipher the talk on stress management among students. I now request Mrs. Navita, HOD, Department of Mental Health Nursing, RVCN, to introduce our renowned speaker, Leah Johnny Shelley, ma'am, to our esteemed audience. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mrs. Gautami. Mrs. Leah John Shelley, Research and Compliance Officer. The skills of the ma'am are unexplainable. Research and she's good at research and presentation. She's a flair for counseling, well-developed written and oral communication, media skills such as video and audio editing. She's a good at public speaking, experiences with Qualtrics and SPSS. Speaking about personal traits, she is a compassionate person, and ma'am holds certificate courses of proposal writing and reporting, guidance and counseling, Department of Psychology, World Music Certificate for Achievement 2014. Ma'am has received Postgraduate Global Excellence Scholarship Award from University of Exeter 2017. Ma'am's Subject Proficiency Award, Psychology from Jyoti Niwas College of Nursing. Subject Proficiency Award, Optional English from Jyoti Niwas College of Nursing. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much to RVCN for having me and giving me this privilege of addressing the entire gathering here. I extend my gratitude to the principal of RVCN and the entire faculty who have made this possible. And mostly, thank you for making mental health a priority in your institution, and also for extending it to students from outside to join in this evening's webinar as well. All right, so as we begin this session, I just want to make sure that this whole webinar is successful. And one of the ways I think it can be successful is when the students in here interact with me, right? So students, I want you to be active throughout this hour, which is why I'm going to ask you questions in between. So keep your fingers ready to type on the chat option. My first question, and I want to say greetings to y'all, and well done on making it to 3 p.m. of this beautiful day. So right now, I want to ask y'all how you are all feeling today. Okay, the question is how you all are feeling today. So I do not want you to say good, bad, but I want you to get more descriptive with your response. So let me know on the chat box how you are feeling today. Is anybody there? Excited? Thank you. Good. Okay. Thank you. I said no words such as good and okay, but you can use other words to describe how you are feeling right now, today. Lovely. Thank you. The first step, or the first most important part of mental health, is to identify how you are feeling. Somebody says great, frustrated, preparing for upcoming exams, amazing, frustrated. Okay, I'm looking charming. Thank you. I hope that was directed towards me. Thank you. Good. Okay. Come on, let me know. How are you feeling? What is the feeling right now? Are you tired? Are you hungry? Are you just happy? Are you bored? What are you feeling? Pissed off. Okay, what? Who did what to you? Hungry? Tired? Okay. Anything else? Y'all are stealing my own feelings. Example of my feelings. Okay, any more? Let me give you a few more seconds. Happy? Somebody's happy? All right. Enjoying your class? Okay. We've just begun. I'm glad somebody says that. Drowsy. Okay. I want you to do anything possible to sit awake through this session. All right. My next question to y'all is, where and what are you studying? Okay. I understand that not everybody is from the same college because it was open to others. So tell me, where are you studying and what are you studying? Stressed for the exams? Okay. Some are stressed. You are in the right place today. Where are you studying and what are you studying? Thank you. Nursing faculty, thank you. Any more? Please keep your responses coming. It will not be successful if y'all don't interact. So please tell me. MSc Microbiology. Nursing, MSc Mental Health Nursing, wonderful. Nursing, okay. Nursing, different colleges, different names, and different degrees. Student of Avi College, wonderful. BSc Nursing, wonderful. Nursing, a lot of nursing students. All right. My next question to you is, faculty of Avi College, welcome to you as well. Thank you for sharing. My next question to you all is, why are you here today? Why are you here in this webinar? Give me your honest responses. Are you here because you are supposed to be here for attendance? Or are you here for some other reason? Let me know. Why are you here today in this webinar? To skip class, okay? I hope it's worth it. BSc second year, thank you. Why are you here today? Why are you here in this webinar? Give me your reasons. Let us see it. To enlighten ourselves regarding stress management, yes. I don't want to feel like I'm talking to my laptop, so interact. Know how to manage stress in the right way. Thank you. Anyone else? Anything else? To learn how to manage stress. All right. Thank you so much for your responses. My final question before I begin is, how many exam tips or exam stress related sessions have you attended so far in your life? Approximately. Do not let stress affect my performance. Thank you. 0. Okay, it's your first ever session on stress management. Okay. None. 0. Okay, that makes me sort of happy. 0. Okay. None. Okay. I'm surprised actually. All right, y'all are in your degree, and I'm pretty sure here and there, no lecturer, no teacher, no parent would have spared a lecture on exam-related things. They would have given you something or the other for you to keep and hold on to. And I'm glad that you all are here today as well. And I hope that there will be something for you all to receive, right? So this webinar is called Exam Stress Management, okay? 3 words that have been given to me to speak to you all about, which is exam stress management, and together it's exam stress management, right? So when you talk about exam, can any one of us avoid an exam? Can any one of us skip exams when we have to study in our school, in colleges, in degree? None of us. We cannot skip an exam, let alone in academics, right? In life, can any one of us skip tests and exams in life? We will always, throughout our lifetime, we will have tests, we will have exams, we will be examined as people for different things in different ways in our career. Wherever we go, there will be exams, there will be tests, and you cannot avoid it, right? So exam, it's a yes. When you talk about stress, okay, that's the second word, stress. Can you avoid it? Can you say stress is not present? Stress is impossible for me to experience. Stress is something that I have no idea about. None of us here, all the 100 plus, I don't know how many of us are here, but none of us can say that I am completely stress-free and I will be stress-free for my lifetime, right? Stress is a yes, right? Exam is a yes, stress is a yes. And what is that third word? It is management. When it comes to management, is that also a yes? What would you say if you are asked the question right away? Can you manage it? Can you manage your exam? Can stress be managed? Can anything be managed? And that too is a big yes. Can we have the slides, please? So we say exam, yes, stress, yes, management, yes, right? So today we're going to focus on these three words, not together, exam, stress, management, but we're going to focus on each one separately, exam, stress, and management, okay? So I want to ask you all a question again, okay? So there's a saying that goes like this: comparison is a thief of dash, okay? I want you all to fill in the dash for me in the chat box. Let me know. Comparison is a thief of dash. Anybody? Comparison is a thief of dash. Do not zoom into the screen. Some of y'all may be able to see the word on the screen. Creativity, joy, okay? Yourself, okay, good responses. Joy, happiness, joy, self-confidence, okay? Wonderful. So the saying goes like this: comparison is a thief of joy, but whatever your responses were, it can belong with that sentence, right? It can belong with that saying that comparison is a thief of yourself, your self-confidence, your ability, your joy, your happiness. It is a thief of all of these many things. So I mentioned exam, I mentioned stress, I mentioned management, and straight up I jumped to comparison. There's a reason for it, okay? So today we're going to talk about comparison in our webinar of exam stress management, okay? In psychology, we call it social comparison, okay? So there are two types of comparison, which is upward comparison and downward comparison, as you see on the screen that is displayed, okay? Upward comparison is when you think that you are better than someone, okay? That is when it is an upward comparison, okay? Downward comparison is when you think you are lesser than someone, okay? Two types, okay? Upward comparison, downward comparison. When you feel like, and when you think that you are better than someone, you have a confidence that is high, okay? You have a higher level of confidence. When you think that not better than someone. When you are lesser than someone, you have a lower level of confidence. So there are two levels of confidence, higher and lower. Sometimes in life, especially when it comes to exam, high levels of confidence and low levels of confidence, high levels, low levels, both are problematic. High levels of confidence may make you feel like you are too confident, you know everything, and that's your attitude, that's your behavior. That also is a problem. And when you have low confidence, you think that you cannot do it, you don't have the ability, that someone else can do it. That also is a problem, right? So what does comparison do? Comparison affects your self-esteem, and your self-esteem affects your confidence. Okay, this is the cycle, right? Can we have that slide, please? Comparison, it affects your self-esteem, and self-esteem affects your confidence. So whether it is upward comparison, it affects your self-esteem, it affects your confidence. Whether downward comparison, it affects your self-esteem, and that affects your confidence. So right now you can examine, what is your self-esteem looking like? What is your confidence looking like? And you have to ask yourself, is comparison affecting my self-esteem? And is my self-esteem taking down my confidence? So when it comes to exam stress management, I believe that confidence is key. Confidence is important for you to avoid stress, for you to avoid fear, for you to avoid panic. It is important. It's an important element. And that is why you have to examine what your confidence level looks like, and which in turn you have to introspect and see what your self-esteem looks like. And in turn, you have to see and examine if comparison is playing on your self-esteem, which is affecting your confidence. Okay. So now let us talk about exam and comparison. Okay. Exam and comparison. That's our first word, right? Exam is our first word. So let's talk about exam and comparison. My question to you is, why are you writing this exam? Why are you writing your exams? Silly question, right? You may ask, what even are you asking, right? But it's an important question to ask yourself. Why am I writing this exam? I'm writing this exam because it is important for my degree, right? It's important for the degree that you are pursuing. This exam is important. And that leads to a bigger question. Why do you need this degree? Why are you studying this degree? So that's my question to you right now. So come on the chat box again and let me know why you are writing, or why you need this degree. Why are you studying for this degree? Why this degree? Anybody? Come on, give me your answers. Appraisal, job, salary, okay? Why are you pursuing this degree? It's so much effort, right? You are putting in years of your time. You are putting in investment in time, in terms of finances, in terms of so many things. Why are you doing this degree? Give me your answers. To make money, okay? Anyone else? Come on, y'all, help me make this webinar successful, right? Please give me your responses. Why do you need this degree? To avoid marriage, okay? To go abroad? Okay, some more, any more? Why do you need this degree? To get a job, okay? Okay, some more, any more? Why do you need this degree? To get a job? Okay. Okay, some more, any more? Why do you need this degree? To get a job? Okay. Okay, some more, any more? Why do you need this degree? To get a job? Okay. Okay, some more, any more? Why do you need this degree? To get a job? Okay. Okay, some more, any more? Why do you need this degree? To get a job? Okay. anything else, anyone else, to evaluate our standards, okay, to survive, okay. Why this particular degree? Why are so many of you pursuing nursing? Why nursing? Why are you doing a degree in nursing? That's for example, okay. Fame, okay. Any more reasons why? Let me wait a little bit more. To get our job, okay. What's the reason? What's the purpose of this degree? Job opportunities, okay. Easy to get a job, okay. Okay, so when you ask yourself, why do I need this degree? Different people have different reasons. Different people have different purpose for pursuing. Somebody says to make our parents proud, to settle our future. So the reason for pursuing or wanting the degree is subjective. It's personal. It differs and varies from one person to the other, right? The reason why I will pursue the degree will be different to what someone else here is pursuing the degree for. So it's subjective, right? It's different. It's different from person to person. So the question I want to ask you is, do you want to study for your reason or purpose, or do you want to study for the exam? Are you studying for your purpose, or are you studying for the exam? It's an important question that you have to ask yourself time and time again. Because let me tell you why. What happens when you study for your purpose? What happens when you study for your reason? When you study for your reason, when you study for your purpose, that becomes your drive. When that becomes your drive, you say, I believe in myself. I believe that I can fulfill this reason or this purpose for which I'm pursuing my degree. I believe I can fulfill the purpose of making my parents proud by pursuing this degree. I believe that I can make my parents proud. That is your reason for studying. That becomes your reason for studying. That becomes your drive to study. So when you do it for the reason, you say, I believe in myself. I believe that I will fulfill this reason or purpose that is on my heart. So I urge you not to do anything without meaning or without purpose. So whatever exam that you are writing, whatever degree that you are pursuing, don't do it like, hey, it's a degree, hey, it's an exam. It has no meaning to it, right? But when you have a reason, when you have a strong purpose attached to it, that becomes your reason, that becomes your meaning, and that in turn becomes your drive. So I want everyone to say, I believe in myself. I believe that I can fulfill my purpose. Can you all say it with me? Can you all type it on the chat box? I believe I can. I believe in myself. Can you all say it with me? Put it on the chat box. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. May your belief in yourself be your confidence. May your belief in yourself be your confidence, right? So now, when I'm saying, are you studying for your exam, or are you studying for your reason or your purpose? I said what happens when you study for the reason or for your purpose. Now, let me tell you what happens when you study for the exam. When you are studying for the exam, your focus is on your marks. Even without knowing, unintentionally, your focus is on securing high marks. Your focus is on scoring the highest in class, or your focus is on scoring the highest in your college, or your focus is on scoring the highest in your group. your focus is on scoring better than your peers or better than your friends, your focus shifts on all of this when you are only studying for your exam. So there is a difference when you are studying for the purpose, you believe in yourself. But when you are studying for the exam and when your focus shifts to other people, when your focus shifts to coming the highest, the topmost in your class, what do you tend to believe? You either tend to believe that you are better than someone, or you end up believing that you are not better, you are lesser than someone. So your belief shifts. There is a shift in your belief, and that in turn affects your confidence. I recently mentored a girl who told me that her friends are leaving her because she thinks she has low marks. And that is affecting her self esteem, it's affecting her confidence, and that will in turn show with stress and pressure and all of that in the next exam. So that is why it's important for all of you to ask, am I studying for my purpose or am I studying for the sake of the exam? In psychology, we have these two terms that I want to explain why I said asking these two questions are important. So we call it the extrinsic motivation and the intrinsic motivation, okay? What is extrinsic motivation? It is when you are motivated to perform a behavior, which right now is studying or learning, or to engage in an activity because you want to earn a reward or punishment, okay, or avoid punishment. So extrinsic motivation is when you are performing a behavior, which is when you are studying, when you are learning, because you want to earn a reward, that is good marks, or to avoid punishment, which is failure. So you are studying to get good marks, or you are studying to avoid failing, right? So these are two reasons why you are studying. When you have extrinsic motivation, that is motivation that is outside of you, right? So you will engage in studying not because you enjoy it, not because you find it satisfying to study, to learn, to understand. It's not that you're enjoying it, it's not that it's making you happy, it's not that it's satisfying you, but you do it because you expect to get something or to avoid something, okay? That is when it is called extrinsic motivation. But when it's intrinsic motivation, you engage in a behavior, which here is studying or learning, because you find that behavior, because you find studying or learning as rewarding. So it's not the marks, or it's not avoiding failing, that is your reward, but the fact of the process of studying itself, the behavior of you studying, of you learning new things, of you understanding things, that itself you find rewarding, that itself you find satisfying. That is intrinsic motivation. You do it because you find that behavior satisfying, right? So you perform an activity for the sake of that rather for an external award. So for what you feel on the inside rather than what is an external award. So the behavior, the studying itself is satisfying. So this is that's when you come to a place where you say, this is my subject. I chose this because I believe in this subject. I like this subject. It's important to me. It makes me happy. There are things about it that are satisfying to me. I believe that this is going to be the career in my life. This is going to be something that's going to stick to me for a lifetime. And that is why I love learning this. I love understanding this. When you approach it like that, there's a difference in the amount of stress that you experience and how you go through the process of studying and learning. Does that make sense? So experts say that intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, they play a significant role in learning. So experts argue that when it's extrinsic motivation, when it's marks or avoiding failure, when that is your motivation, it's when you either do not get good marks, or if you do not avoid failing and you end up failing, it affects your motivation. And that will in turn lead to a higher level of stress and lower level of confidence, right? So ask yourself, why and how am I studying? Am I studying for the fulfillment of my purpose and my reason, or am I studying for getting good marks and just for my exam? That itself will make a lot of difference, right? So exam and comparison, do not compare when it comes to your exam, because each one of you are pursuing this degree for different reasons. Each one of you have your own purpose, your own reason for pursuing this exam, this degree, and that is why you should avoid comparison, all right? Because comparison is a thief of joy. So initially, as they introduced me, they said I had subject proficiency in my degree. In my first year of college, I had subject proficiency in English literature as well as psychology. And to be honest, my aim was never that I topped my class. My aim was never that who is getting better marks than me. My aim, I never even knew that I was actually scoring high marks. Only at the end of the year, when my lecturers told me that you have been selected for subject proficiency, which means from all the batches of the current year, I won the award. And that's when I realized that, hey, I have done well. So when you focus on your reason, your purpose, you don't care about who is scoring well, who is not doing well. Am I doing better than someone? Am I doing lesser than someone? When you don't care about that, when you focus on what your purpose is, that will help you get to where you are without stress and without much pressure. Somebody said like this: we won't be distracted by comparison if we are captivated by purpose. So comparison is distracting. It will lead to a lot of stress and pressure. And that is why I'm here to remind you to be captivated by your purpose. Find your purpose, find your reason, and come to a place where that is captivating you. That is having your heart, that is having your mind, that is having your attention, and that is taking you onto the path of learning. Okay, so that when you do that, you find joy in that. That every exam is a step closer to your purpose. Every exam is a step closer to fulfilling that reason that you are looking at, right? Are you here with me? Let's go to the next part, that is exam and comparison is done. Now let's talk about stress and comparison, okay? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are you? Give me your answers. How stressed are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Eight, okay. 7, okay. 6, 5, 9. How stressed are you? 6, okay. 9, okay. 10, okay. Somebody has hit it. It's okay. 5. All right. So you see, as I asked, how stressed are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Different people have different levels of stress. Different people have different patterns of stress. Different people have different experiences of stress. The way one of you experience stress will be different from how the other person is experiencing stress. So different people have different levels of stress, and it's important for everyone here to understand that stress also differs from one person to the other. Some of us are by nature more prone to anxiety and stress. That's by nature, because of whatever may have happened in our lives, whatever may be the reason for it. Some of us have come to a place where we are more prone to anxiety and stress. And some of us have combined stressors in our lives at present. Some of you, as you are appearing for your exam, it may not just be exam stress in your life. Maybe you have family oriented stress. Maybe you have financial stress. Maybe you have stressors because of your physical and mental health. Maybe you have stressors because of your relationships. Maybe you have stressors because of your memory power, your retention power. Whatever it is, most of us have combined stressors in our lives. So right now, all your stress may not just be an exam stress, right? So one person may have a combination of 2 or 3 stresses. Some may have a combination of 5 or more stresses. So it's different from one person to the other. And that is why it's important for you to not compare your stress, because each one of you have different levels of stress. Each one of you have different combination of stress in your life. That is why one person may be stressed, one person may not be stressed, one person may be more stressed than the other, right? So when you see that one person is stressed and you're not supposed to put them down. Hey, why are you so stressed about this exam? You cannot do that, because people have a combination of stressors in their lives. But when you are fully stressed and the other person is not, you don't have to panic that only you are being stressed over an exam, because you may be having more stresses in your life, or you may be prone to stress in your life more than the other person. So it's okay if you are stressed and the other person is not. Okay. So I have a multiple option question for you. And the options are, I want you all to respond to me. Okay. How many of you say, I am stressed from the day the exam dates are announced? Okay, can we have that slide, please? Option A is stressed from the day the exam dates were announced. Okay. Option 2 is stressed from the night before. I'm not able to read. Option C is stressed on the day of the exam. Option D is stressed the minute before stepping into the examination hall. And option E is stressed the minute the question paper is shared. Which one are you? Multiple choice question. Option B, okay. Option A, okay. Option A, option B, okay. Option B, option A. Okay. Majority fall between A and B. Okay, if somebody is here to say options, I'm never stressed, I want to do a slow clap for you. Good for you, but I'm pretty sure each one of us has one of the options in place for us, right? I asked that question just so you all know that different people experience stress at different times. I was one of the girls who were stressed on like the night before, the midnight before the exam. So you can be on different places, but you will experience some level of stress or the other. That is why it's important for you to not compare your stress, all right? Now, on to the final thing, okay? Exam and comparison done, stress and comparison done. Now let's talk about management and comparison, okay? We all can manage our stress, we all can manage our exam, but what we ought to not do is compare how we each manage our exam. So you become your personal manager. Why should you become your personal manager? Because of all of the reasons that I said. You have your own purpose, you have your own reason, and you have your own level of stress. You have your own stresses in your life. That is why you need to become a personal manager when it comes to learning and going into writing your exam. So Identify your stressors and become a personal manager. Okay, identify what works best for you without comparison. Okay, there may be a rank holder in your class. You do not have to go to that person. You can get good things out of your friend who is scoring high, but you don't have to follow exactly as they do. Oh, you study early in the morning, I'm also going to study early in the morning. You study 3 hours without a break, I'm also going to do 3 hours without a break. Do not do that. Identify what works best for you without comparison, because what works for one person may not work for you, and when it's not working for you, it will lead you to stress. If you're like me, and if you cannot study in the morning, you don't study the night, you don't study the evening, you say, I'm going to study in the morning just like all my friends do. You wake up in the morning, you wake up at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m., you want to study, you sit, but you end up dozing, you end up sleeping, nothing is going into your mind. You are more stressed when you realize that it's not working for you, right? So figure out what works for you. So first, manage how you study and do not compare how you study, okay? Whether it's you studying in the morning or whether it's you studying in the evening, in the nighttime, but get enough sleep, whether it's morning or in the nighttime. Whether for you, can we have that slide, please? Whether by writing you are able to study, whether you're able to study reading out loud. Maybe you have siblings in your house where one wants to scribble and study, one wants to read out loud, one wants to read quietly. Do what works for you. Do not compare and do what is working for someone else. Figure out, identify what is working for me, right? Study. Do you want to study where people are around, or do you want to study in a quiet place? Sometimes if you are in a quiet place, your mind will start playing its games on you. You may be led into distraction, you may be led into unwanted thoughts. So be aware, if I'm alone, what is happening to me? Am I able to study? If you're not able to, be around people. It's okay. You don't have to study in a quiet, alone place, right? So study with or without music is different for different people. For some, studying with music helps. For me, studying with music helps. But for my sibling, studying with music was a big no. So identify what works for you. So how you study. So figure that out and manage how you study, and do not compare how you study. My next thing is how you refresh. Do not manage how you refresh, and do not compare how you refresh. Is refreshing while you study, while you are preparing for your exam, important? Yes, it is. Your teachers, your lecturers would have told you that you need to take breaks in between. You may think, in that 15 minutes, in that half an hour, I will study this much more. I'm losing this much time if I take a break in between. But it is important in order to not overwork your brain. So if you would have successfully studied an extra hour without taking a break, but how well you will be able to retain that memory and put it down on paper while you are writing, that is questionable. So take breaks in between without overworking your brain, right? Some of you can do hours, some of you can do only 1 hour concentrating. So figure out how many breaks you will need in between. That is personal to you, that is subjective to you, and that is why you should not be comparing when it comes to how you refresh, right? So what do you do in your breaks? I want to stress on what you do in your breaks is important. So when you are taking breaks in between to refresh, it is important that you are not consuming any information. What we are all guilty of doing is you want to take a break, so you go on to Instagram, you go on to WhatsApp, you go on to Facebook, you go on to Snapchat, whatever it is the platform you are on, you go into social media. But when you go into social media, you may think I'm having a break, but what you are doing is you are consuming information. Some or the other information is going into your mind. You may say, I'm going to look at the news, I'm going to read something, I'm going to listen to a podcast, I'm going to watch a show, I'm going to listen to a video, I'm going to watch something. Or when you do all of that, you are feeding your mind information, and that is not necessarily going to be refreshing your mind. So make sure that when you take a break, that you are doing something that feeds no information to you, that you are consuming no information, right? So what are those, right? So you can take a break if journaling helps, writing down whatever is on your mind. You are not taking in information, but you are putting out information. You are putting out excess of what you have. You are putting out words. So you are giving out and you're not taking in. That is a good way. If that works for you, you can do that. Watering the plants, you are not consuming any information. Or walking a pet, playing with a pet in your house, or playing with your sibling, you are not consuming any information. Listening to music, dancing, and playing with somebody, all of this is a way of you to do something that works for you, that does, where you are not consuming information, right? Ladies, do your skincare, that you're not consuming information. Make a cup of tea and sip on it. You are not consuming any information, and that is a sort of a break to you. Whatever it is, an exercise that does not tire your body, you can do that. Singing out loud, dancing, all of this, singing out loud. You can sing anything out loud. Research proves that it is supposed to release happy hormones in your body. You don't have to be a singer, an amazing singer. You just have to take a minute, just sing something out loud, whatever comes to your mind. That itself is enough to release happy hormones in you, right? So do not compare how you refresh, but manage how you refresh. And finally, because it is rooted in mental health, I want to speak on managing how you get help. I think the word get is missing, but how you help or how you get help. Get help before the exam and not during. It is important, but each one of us, we each need help in different ways. Some of us need help mentally, some of us need help emotionally, some of us need help academically. Whatever help it is that you need, ask your family, ask your faculty, ask your friends for the kind of help that you need. If you need emotional help, ask for it. If you need help mentally, if you're struggling mentally, ask for help in that aspect. If you need help academically before your exam, ask for that help. Do not hesitate in asking for help. Involve your family, involve your faculty, involve your friends in your process of preparation, because that will not make you feel alone. You will not feel alone. To not feel alone, you need to involve your family, you need to involve your faculty, and you have to make sure that they are joining you in your preparation to your exam. Draw boundaries. When I say ask for help or get help, I want to also stress on you drawing boundaries. Whatever is distracting you or affecting your confidence, you need to figure that out. So if somebody is saying something, if somebody's opinion or if their words are affecting you, tell them, I'm sorry, I cannot listen to this right now. It is affecting me. It is distracting me. It's affecting me negatively. So please don't give me these words, right? If your friends are sharing with you how much they have studied the day before the exam, and if that is affecting your confidence, if that is distracting you, draw a boundary and tell your friend, please do not share with me how much you're studying. It's stressing me out. It is okay for you to draw boundaries, okay? If you don't want to go on social media, you don't want to see things that are distracting you, it's taking your attention elsewhere. Draw a boundary and make sure you are not going on social media, and do anything, be intentional about drawing boundaries. You may have group chats where your friends are updating how much they've studied, how much they're yet to study. Draw a boundary and mute that WhatsApp group. You mute that group, whatever group it is, and draw a boundary to protect your mental peace, to protect your mind and your energy from being distracted. So do not be afraid to draw boundaries that are for you, for your sake, right? So sometimes going before the exam begins and talking to your friends may be stressing you out. So draw a boundary and not meet friends before the exam. Go straight into the exam if that is what. But if meeting them before helps you, go beforehand. So you identify how you want to help, how you seek help, and how you get help of the people around you. Finally, keep accountability partners. When I say keep accountability partners, do not have friends who are writing exam with you as accountability partners, but keep your parent, keep your siblings, keep your other friends as partners to whom you can be accountable. Okay, say you have a timetable, say you have a goal. Tell them, this is my timetable, this is the goal that I want to stick to, and let them be aware of what your priority is, what your goal is, so that you can be accountable to them, that they can ask you, hey, how are you doing? Are you on track? Did you miss something here? Did you skip something that you had planned? Did you not meet that goal that you had in mind for today? Somebody to ask you that, somebody for you to share with how you are doing in your journey of preparation. So keep accountability partners. That helps in exam stress, right? So yesterday, I want to close by sharing this. Yesterday, I do not know how many of you saw this post on Instagram or on social media, and it was about an auto driver, right? He was on a ride that was booked on Uber, and the passenger who was traveling saw that when the passenger sat in the auto and when the ride had to begin, the auto driver switched from YouTube. He was watching something on YouTube. He switched from YouTube to the navigation map, right? So he was wondering, okay, it seemed like he was listening to something. But at the end, when he got off the ride, he asked this auto driver, what was it that you were watching? It looked like you were preparing something for something. So he said, I was watching a YouTube channel that had content on current affairs and economics. Okay, so this passenger was curious and he asked, like, why were you listening to a channel that had content on current affairs and economics? Are you studying for something? So he said, no, my daughter is preparing for UPSC. So when I go home, my daughter will come back from the library and we both will have discussion on these topics, right? It's an auto driver who is pitching in for his daughter to finish and accomplish this goal of her writing the UPSC. So your parents, your teachers, your friends, your siblings, they will have the desire to help you. They all have the desire to come partner with you in your preparation. So manage how you ask for help and do not compare how each one of you ask for help, because each one of you need help in different ways. So be open for help and do not hesitate. And that is most important in exam stress and management. And I want to close with this. Reach for the moon. Even if you fall short, you land among the stars. This is a quote that the founder of the previous company that I worked for would always tell me. Reach for the moon, and even if you fall short, you land among the stars. So reach for the highest of your potential in fulfilling your purpose, in fulfilling your reason, and whatever you may land the moon itself, or you may land among the stars, whatever it is, that will be more than enough for you. And I want to wish you the moon and the stars, and I want to say all the best to all of you here. May God bless you, and may you be able to manage all of it without comparison. Thank you for trusting me with your exam stress and management. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We are really indebted to have you here on this occasion, spending your valuable time and having our accepting our invite and sharing your valuable knowledge on how best the examination stress can be managed among the students. Now the session is open for queries from the participants. I request the delegates to put forth their questions to the speaker, or you can post that in the chat box. Any queries from the delegates? I think no queries from the delegates. Hope everyone has understood everything from the session, and they will be able to manage the stress during their examinations. Any queries from the participants? Okay, so just we'll move on. The most beautiful way to start and end the day is with a grateful heart. I now request Mr. Maunesh Badiga, Lecturer, Department of Mental Health Nursing, RVCN, Bengaluru, to set the foot to propose vote of thanks. Sorry to interrupt. Ma'am, a student has one query. Chanda, can you unmute yourself? Chanda, can you unmute? Okay. Ma'am, you are able to see the question. Ma'am, students tends to focus more on the subjects they like. Why is it so? Chanda? Then they perform not so well in the other subjects.
Good question. How to deal with this habit of this? So, I would say if focusing on the subjects beforehand, on the subjects you like beforehand, and being well versed in that, and later on during the period, like just 2-3 weeks before the exam, if you will focus on learning the subjects you do not like, if that helps, and only a day before the examination, if you're able to revise the subjects that you like, and you're easily able to put that onto your paper, if that works for you, you can so do that. But if you say that studying the subjects I do not like beforehand, and during the period of the examination, 2 or some weeks before, focusing on the subjects I do like, and then revising the day or 2 days before the subjects you do not like before the exam works, whichever pattern works for that person can do that. And I think focusing on the subjects we do like is important, but I mean, we need to identify what works best for us, and that is what I share through the session as well. Whatever works best for this particular student. If that particular student has realized that I'm not performing well in the other subjects, hey, you need to do something about it, and you need to figure out if studying ahead in time is going to help or studying right before the exam. So because if you study ahead in time, you're forgetting it, you're not able to recall when the time comes. Whatever works in terms of your memory, in terms of your retention, if you identify that, that will help you with your exam. We all have subjects we like and do not like, so I think we each have to figure that out.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering.
Thank you, ma'am.
There's one more question. One more question. Take the- Ma'am, there is one more query from the student. Even if we are clear about the concept, we tend to forget the keywords if studied long ago. Being in medical field, we have many keywords to write in the paper.
Well, it's a difficult, it is challenging, of course, and that is why there is stress, and that is why there's pressure along the way. And if there are too many keywords, keep a note of all of the keywords through from the moment the keyword is introduced to you, and figure out different things that you can attach with that keyword, right? So attach different meanings, different explanations, different practical things to do with that keyword, that later on, say attention is a keyword, attach practical meaning to that word while that word is introduced to you. If it's stress, it's one keyword, right? So attach practical meaning, attach relevant meaning that excites your brain and your mind to learn more about it from the time it is introduced to you. So when you attach something else to that word, I think you will be able to recall those words much better than if you leave the word just as it is in your mind. You will be able to recall it better if you attach more meaning and more understanding to that keyword to make sure it's in your mind. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable insights and answering the queries of the students. Any other queries from the delegates? Over to you, Monish.
Thank you, Gautam, ma'am. The secret of your success is determined by your hard work and strong focus on your goal. A very warm good evening to one and all. Honorable dignitaries, faculties, and delegates, I feel honorable and privileged having an opportunity to offer vote of thanks on this webinar. It is my utmost privilege to thank our resource person of the day, Ms. Lee John Shelley, Research and Compliance Officer. Thank you, ma'am, for inspiring the students with your motivational words and highlighting on the examination stress management. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to acknowledge my gratitude to our principal, Dr. S.R. Gajendra Singh, sir, for his valuable guidance and support in organizing and successful completion of this webinar. Thank you, sir. I also extend my thanks to all the HOD of various departments for gracing this occasion. Thank you, everyone. I sincerely thank to one and all invitees, delegates, and participants for your active participation in this webinar. Thank you. Thank you, one and all. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you all the delegates for joining us on this occasion. Now it's time to click a group photograph. I kindly request all the participants to on your camera. Kindly request all the participants to on your camera. Thank you one and all for joining us. It was a pleasure being with you all on this day. We hope you all to see again next time. Goodbye. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, all the delegates.